What is up, everybody? Super fired up to get going. Today, we're going to be going over behind the scenes of our 400-person call center that generates around 100,000 motivated seller leads every single year. We got some really awesome things going on. Like I said, we have 5 minutes until it starts. So, super, super excited. We're going to be going over caller, data, dialer, all of these little things that when you look at it from an outside point of view, you're like, oh, they just call. But there's a lot of science, there's a lot of math that goes in on the back end in order to be able to do it at scale to minimize wait times, to get rid of the abandonment rate, to make sure that at the volume that we are doing, we're able to be in an efficient manner because with volume, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% difference is the difference between tens, hundreds, even thousands of leads. So we're going to be starting in 4 minutes. I'm super, super excited to go over because we have never, ever, ever gone into our systems this in depth before. So you guys are all going to see it for the first time. So super, super excited. So we're going to wait a couple more minutes while everybody gets in because the start time is 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's 1:56 right now. So stay tuned. We have around an hour of content right now, probably more around an hour, hour 15. And these are pretty much what I like to say enterprise level systems that we are going to be covering because, as I said, there's so many cool things that go on the back end that most people don't know about, but I am going to be releasing everything so I can show you guys exactly how you can do it. So we got more and more people coming in right now. Starting in a couple minutes. Let's go. Boom. Just want to make sure everything is recorded. So also for you guys, this will be recorded. So if you have to leave at some point, don't worry, you're going to be able to get the full thing sent. So we got a couple more minutes right now. I see more and more people are joining right now. So give it 3 minutes before we get right into the content. Cool. More people are hopping in right now. A couple more minutes. I'm probably going to start it a little bit earlier too because I am really excited about what we are going over. Spent a lot of time and effort essentially reverse engineering everything that we have done to build these systems. As I'll go into it more in depth, we probably spent, millions of dollars perfecting these systems. Of course, there's always ways for us to improve, but through trial, through error, through managing a lot of people, we have been able to boil it down to that sweet, sweet science that allows us to scale. So I'm actually going to get going right now. I have a feeling more and more people are going to be hopping in as it gets started, but this is behind the scenes of our 400-person call center that generates 100,000 motivated seller leads every single year. And what you're about to see in the next 60 minutes is not theory and is not some guru's best guess. This is the exact system that powers our 400-person call center operating out of Egypt that generates 100,000 off-market seller leads every single year. And this is the system that took my brother, Daniel, who is my partner, from struggling to do a few deals in college to consistently closing 15 deals per month. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to plug into it because here is the reality. Most wholesalers in this space are stuck. They're doing maybe one, maybe two deals a month, and they have no idea why they can't scale. They blame the market, they blame the economy, they blame the luck, they blame other people, but the truth is they don't have the systems. They don't have the tactics. I got some of the best business advice ever in my life recently from one of my mentors, who is one of the best paid advertisers in the world. He said, the alpha, which is the edge, is not in the strategy. The alpha is in the tactics. And the example that I'm going to use for you guys so that you could understand how this philosophy works is cold email. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with cold email, but you use it to get leads the same way you use cold calling to get leads. How are you going to get more leads? spending all day trying to write the single most perfect email to get the highest likelihood of responding, that would be a strategy. Or go send 100,000 emails a day of the same copy and paste template. That is the tactic right there. So the sauce, the edge, the reason why you see all these people doing deals way bigger than you think you could ever do, it's not because of their strategy. They have an edge in their tactics. They're playing checkers while the top 1% are playing chess. And in the next hour, I'm going to show you exactly what that chess game looks like. And my goal today is simple. I'm going to give you the exact system that generates 100,000 off market seller leads every single year across our entire operation. And this system has taken clients to their first deal. I've got clients who are doing 80 deals a month, and we even call for hedge funds who have $500 million under management and give them a predictable pipeline of commercial and industrial leads for their internal acquisitions. This is proven. This is a repeatable machine that we have tested, refined, and scaled across over 700 clients over the past year and a half. And every single tactic I am going to show you today has been battle tested in the real world. It works. And the single biggest reason most wholesalers are stuck doing 1 or 2 deals a month, feeling frustrated, and what I like to say, trapped in that high paying job. Yeah, maybe you're running your own business, but if you don't do the calls, if you don't do the outreach, you're not making any money. That's a high paying job. That's not a business. It's because they believe a lie. And that lie is, like I said, you need a better strategy, a secret list, or some magic trick to succeed. But the truth, volume negates strategy. While you're trying to find the perfect angle, the titans of the industry, 67 to 80 deals per month, are running on a completely different operating system. They're not smarter. They don't have better information. They just have an unfair advantage, which is volume. Volume erases mistakes. It creates opportunities and it builds empires. And the tactics they use to generate that volume are hiding in plain sight. So my name is Ben. Once again, I am the founder and CEO of No Accent Callers. The system I'm about to show you is the same one that took my brother Daniel to 15 deals a month while he was in college. And it's the same systems that we use to power our 400-person call center in Egypt. Like I said, that generates over 100,000 off-market seller leads a year across 700 clients. And here's what we're going to be covering. Pillar number 1 is the dial to deal algorithm. And this is our pyramid system. Data at the foundation, dialer in the middle, agents at the top. A system that dominates every market we enter. And in the next 30 minutes, you're going to learn exactly how it works. And pillar number 2 is the dead lead gold mine. And here's a secret that will blow your mind. 80% of the deals that you have are already in your possession. They're just sitting in your CRM. They're in your dead lead pile, and you're treating them like they're worthless. They're not. They're your gold mine. And it's one simple fix, one follow-up system, and you'll pull a minimum of 1 extra deal per month out of thin air from leads you've already paid for. You're going to learn the exact system to revive those dead leads and turn them into deals. So buckle up, because the next 15 minutes are going to change your business. What I'm about to share with you represents millions of dollars, years of testing, refining, and perfecting these systems. And while I'm going to give you incredible value today, you guys are going to come out at the end of this training and say, holy shit, I have not heard anything like this before. I know some of you are going to want more, and don't worry, I have something for you at the end that will change your business forever. But more on that later. Pillar number 1, the dial to deal algorithm. It all starts with data, your foundation. Most people make the same mistake. You probably buy a list from some data provider. You skip trace it. You get the phone numbers. You start calling, but here's what happens. The list is dirty. The phone numbers are wrong. You call someone and they say, oh, I'm not interested. You call another number, it's disconnected. You call a third number, and it's a business, not a homeowner. You're wasting time on garbage data. Even with companies that claim to have clean data, the lists are full of properties that have zero chance of converting. And most wholesalers, they spend thousands of dollars on shit data and marketing and close 0 deals from it. And that's the broken system that everyone is using. But here's what most people don't realize. Problem isn't just that the data is dirty. Data is also stupid. Well, what do I mean by that? When you buy a traditional list, you're getting properties based on service level criteria. Maybe it's properties in a certain zip code. Maybe it's properties with a certain age. Maybe it's properties where the owners owned it for a long time. But these are all guesses. These are all assumptions based on historical data and human intuition. Key, human. Because the real question is, which properties are actually going to sell off market for cash? Which properties are the owners that are actually motivated to sell right now? Which properties should you be spending all of your time calling? And traditional data cannot answer these questions. It's looking backward at historical information. It's not predicting the future. It's not identifying which properties are on the verge of selling. It's just giving you a list of properties that fit a certain criteria. And most of those properties are not motivated sellers. And this is where machine learning changes everything. Instead of a human looking at the property and making a guess, a machine learning model that we use looks at thousands of data points for millions of properties and identifies patterns. And when we say patterns, not this is going to happen, this has a higher likelihood of happening because with volume, with higher probability over a longer period of time, you are going to give yourself an advantage. You're going to give yourself an edge that other people do not have. And when we do that for a longer period of time, slowly, 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 that gap between us and our competition, it widens. We need to be thinking in tactics. We need to be thinking in edges. And here's a simple example. Let's say you want to predict where properties are going to sell off market. A human expert might say, look for properties where the owner has owned it for 15 years and the property is in a declining neighborhood. That's their hypothesis based on their experience. But a machine learning model can analyze millions of properties and find the actual patterns. It might discover that properties are more likely to sell off market when the owner has owned it for 12 to 18 years. The property has specific structural characteristics. The owner's age is between 55 and 70. There's been a recent life event like a job change or a health issue. The property has been in the same family for multiple generations and 47 other data points that a human would never look at. And the model can process all this information simultaneously and assign a probability score to each property. It could say, this property has a 72% higher probability of selling off market in the next months. Not this has a 72% chance likelihood, probability. We want to be playing in games. We want to be calling lists where we have a 1, 2, 72% higher advantage. So with our machine learning model, every single record, not a lead, the records that we call, they have a score anywhere between 0 to 100. 0 is there's no likelihood or low probability of them ever wanting to sell. 100% our model predicts and believes that they are going to have the highest likelihood. And the way that we have structured our data and our calling system is to not call the 0%, but is to call the 40 to 100% because that little edge right there over the volume that we do is how you start getting more leads. Now, instead of calling these properties randomly, you're calling the ones that the AI has already identified as a high likelihood of selling. That's the difference between guessing and knowing. And the model gets smarter over time. And guess what? We have connected our dialing system that does millions of dials to this model. So in real time, all the data that we are gathering is going back to the model to train it more because I don't know how familiar you guys with AI. You probably should. I know it's a buzzword, but that is the future of business. And the best way to train your model is with more data. So when you have that continuous loop of data from the dials, who answers, who says yes, who says no, who tells you to fuck off, and you send it back to the data model, it gets smarter and smarter and smarter. That's machine learning. And it refines its predictions. It becomes more accurate. And that's what we did. We partnered with a machine learning firm to build this proprietary model specifically for our call center. Look, I don't know anything about building machine learning models, but guess what? I know that better data gets us better results. So this was custom built for our use case because the first challenge was data. Creating an effective machine learning model requires a massive amount of data, those millions of properties with the thousands of data points. And each property that we have, each record has 1,700 data points. And those data points include courthouse records, property history, demographics, geographic insights, household interests, life events, purchase behaviors, financial stability indicators, and much more. And like I said, we're analyzing everything from property age and condition to owner demographics to recent life changes that might indicate a motivation to sell. Indicate. Because collecting all the data is extremely expensive. Most real estate companies, they don't have the resources to do it. And even if they did, they do not have the machine learning expertise to build an accurate model. That's why most wholesalers, other call centers are stuck using traditional data. And we've invested heavily into this because data is the foundation. We talk about that pyramid. You could have the best of everything else in the world, but if your data is trash, it does not matter how good anything else is because it's all about the edge. It's all about the advantage. Everybody has access to the same tools, the same resources, the same information, but why does one get better results than the other? It's the edge. It's the advantage. Like I said, our model was trained on millions of real estate transactions. That means when we call a property on our list, the AI has already determined that there is a statistically higher probability that the owner is going to want to sell soon or is already thinking about it. Not a guarantee, probability. Think about what that means. Instead of calling 100 random properties and hoping one person is motivated, you're calling 100 properties that the AI has identified as having a 60% higher chance of being motivated. Like I said, not chance. And with the volume we do daily, that edge means the world. You need clean data. You need accurate phone numbers. You need current contact information. Imagine calling a homeowner who's statistically likely to sell. Oh, this is not even my home. You need data that actually works. And most data providers have a 15 to 20% wrong number rate. That means 1 in 5 calls you make is going to a bad number. We got ours down to 6%. How do we do that? Like I said, we invested into data cleaning and validation. Every dial that we make, the person who is a Spanish speaker, the person whose number is disconnected, the wrong homeowner, guess what? It gets sent back to the model and cleans the number. All the dials that we do, all the cold calling happens in real time. So we use multiple sources to verify the phone numbers, and we cross-reference that with recent transactions, and we validate the addresses, remove the duplicates, and we clean up the data constantly. But more importantly, we use AI to identify which phone numbers are most likely to be correct. Because if we have 5 different phone numbers for the same property, the AI can determine which one has a higher likelihood of being current and active for pickup rate. So not just getting data that's more predictive, but also more accurate. Don't get me wrong, we still call all of those other numbers. That would be incredibly silly for us to say, okay, number one has a 20% higher chance of picking up. Let's not call all the other ones. You got to circle your bases. You got to circle the wagons, cover your tracks. And all of this is to not waste our time calling the wrong people. We want to be calling the right people at the right time. And that's what happened. And because of this model of continuous learning and improving, the accuracy rates get better and better. And most real estate professionals don't think about it. I told you, I'm going to be dropping you sauce that you don't hear on these gurus. I am not a guru. I do not have a course to sell you. I have a business. And all I care about is how the hell can my business get the best results? And it comes from investing into the foundations. And if there's one takeaway from this entire training, I want it to be this. I said it earlier. The alpha is in the tactic, not the strategy. How can we find the edge that the competition doesn't have? That's how we destroy them, because every deal they close is a deal taken from you. And I don't know about y'all. I hate losing more than I like winning. And our data is only one part of our edge, our advantage, because now that you understand the power of our AI predictive data, there's one more problem. Having great data is useless. You can't execute on it at scale. And this is where the dialer comes in. Think about what happens with the traditional dialer. You have an agent. The agent maybe has 1 or 2 phone numbers that they're calling from. The agent starts making calls. They connect with the prospect. And while they connecting with prospect 1, another number rings and the prospect picks up. But the agent is one person. One person cannot talk to 2 people. And what happens? The second call gets dropped. That's called an abandonment. Have you ever picked up a cold call and you said hello, boop, hung up? That was some cold caller on a multi-line dialer connecting with 2 people at once, and you picked up half a second later and they hung up on you because the prospect hears a ring, someone picks up and they get hung up on. That is wasted money. That is inefficiency if we're looking at us calling homeowners to generate motivated seller leads, because what if that person was interested? Oh, we hung up on them? Statistically unlikely that they will pick up again. And that's where also the issue of DID reputation comes in. Every time you call from a number that gets flagged, every time you call a number, either gets flagged or verified by the carrier. And for those who don't know what DID is, it's the phone numbers that you are calling from. So if you're calling too many times from the same number, the carriers start to think it's spam and your connection rate tanks. Nobody picks up. You're making calls, but nobody answers. Have you ever had your own VA callers? Have you ever done the cold calling yourself and you just think, like, why is nobody picking up? Odds are probably that is happening. And these are the problems that kill traditional call centers. They kill VAs that you hire internally because most people don't know these things. That's why most cold calling campaigns fail or are not as efficient as what could be. It's not the data, it's not the agents, it's the dialer. The dialer is broken. And what we did is we built a smart waterfall system to solve all these problems, because it's not just the dialer, it's an intelligent system that manages every single variable to maximize efficiency and results. Let me walk you through exactly how this works. And I'm warning you right now, there's a lot going on. This is complex. This is sophisticated. This is top 0.01% tactics. This is why we have a 400-person operation, because quite frankly, you don't get the managing 400 employees unless you're good at what you do. So let's start with the pod. Pod is a group of 25 agents working together. These 25 agents are all calling at the same time, all working from the same campaign, all trying to generate leads. Now let's say each agent starts with 5 DIDs, 5 numbers. So we have 25 agents times 5 DIDs. So that is 125 numbers that are making dials. That's what a multi-line dialer is. This is what the pod looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, boom, boom. We're all calling and we all have 5 numbers. So theoretically, each agent can make calls from 5 different numbers simultaneously, which increases the amount of volume of calls that you can make. Because I get asked all the time, well, how many dials you can make? Man, I can make $1 million a day if I wanted to, if I had each agent with 1,000 DIDs. But here's where it gets interesting. The AI on the dialer is constantly monitoring the wait time in the pod. Well, what is wait time? Wait time is the time between when an agent finishes one call and connects to the next one. If an agent finishes a call at 2:15 p.m., they get hung up on, and the next call doesn't connect until 2:56 p.m., that's 41 minutes of dead time. That's 41 minutes where you're paying the agent to do nothing. The AI in our dialer is looking at this data in real time. If wait time starts to creep up, the system automatically adds more DIDs to the agents. So instead of 5 DIDs, every agent now gets 6 DIDs, 7 DIDs, 8 DIDs. The more wait time goes up, the more DIDs the dialer adds because there's an inverse correlation between wait time and the number of DIDs. The more DIDs that you have calling, aka the more dials you make, the lower the wait time is. Why? Because you're going to be connecting with more people by default due to the sheer amount of volume that you're doing. And more DIDs, like I just said, more connections means shorter wait time. This is all happening automatically. The system is making these decisions in milliseconds. It's optimizing for one thing, maximum efficiency. Now, where does the smart waterfall magic happen? Let's say agent A has 8 DIDs. Agent A is calling from all 8 numbers simultaneously, and 5 pick up. So we got 5 who connected right here, and we have 20 who are in the queue, who are waiting. We have wait time. Guess what? Agent A can only talk to one person at a time. So what happens in a traditional dialer? 4 calls get dropped. 4 prospects hear a ring. Someone picks up and they get hung up on. That's abandonment. But in the smart waterfall system, those 4 calls don't get dropped. Instead, the system is a pod. They're all calling together. It sees that Agent B is either finishing a call or is waiting for their next one to connect. So instead of hanging up, Agent C is waiting. Agent D is also waiting. The system automatically reroutes the call that would have been dropped to the other callers in wait time. Now, all 5 prospects, which normally the other 4 would have been hung up on, are talking to our agents. No one gets hung up on. No one gets abandoned. All 5 calls are being handled. Look at that. It just gets rerouted down to everybody. That's what the smart waterfall system is. And all of this happens in real time. You guys might be using us right now. You guys might be thinking about using other options. You're like, oh, they just call and get leads. This is what happens on the back end. We are fucking good at what we do. This is the stuff that we obsess about because at the volume that we do, that 2% edge, that 6% abandon rate down to less than 1, it is everything because everything is an opportunity. These systems are making these routing decisions faster than a human could ever think about. This is the smart waterfall system. This is the intelligent call routing. This is what separates us from every other call center in the country. But here's the thing. Just because you can make a lot of calls doesn't mean they're all going to pick up. And this is where DID reputation becomes critical because every time you call from a number, like I said, the number gets flagged or verified by the carrier, and the carriers have system in place to identify spam calls. They're looking for numbers that are making too many calls too quickly. They're looking for numbers that have a pattern of being spam. And if they flag a number as spam, the connection rate tanks. Think about it. Who here has gotten a call from spam likely? I'm sure every single one of you. What percentage of those calls get picked up? Very, very low. If a call says spam likely, I am never picking that up because it gets flagged as spam, and that's what the prospect sees. And no one is going to answer those calls. So this is all called STIR/SHAKEN. STIR/SHAKEN is a framework that the carriers use to verify the phone numbers. It stands for Secure Telephone Identity Revisited and Signature-Based Handling of Asserted Information Using Tokens. It's a mouthful, but basically it's a system that verifies whether a phone number is legitimate or a spam, and there are different attestation levels. The highest level being A, which is a verified number. If you have an iPhone, go to your call log and look for the check mark. That's A, but the lowest level is C, which is spam likely. And we only have verified numbers. We only have verified DIDs. Well, how do we do it? We have a private relationship with the carrier. So think about it. Our dialing system makes dials. Well, how do a call go from my phone to someone who I want to call? It goes through the telephone system. It goes through the carriers, your AT&T, your T-Mobile, all of that stuff. Our dialer is built on, think of it like a mini AT&T. But guess what? We are cool with the CEO. We're verified as a real business. They know that we conduct good business, so he is able to manually verify all of our numbers. And guess what? They get marked as attestation level A. Because we're not trying to trick the system. we're working within the system to ensure you that our numbers are trusted. We talk about edge, we talk about tactics. How many people in the world can call up the owner of a carrier and say, hey, we need more verified DIDs? I'm sure like there's other people out there who do that, but not many. That's the edge. That's the tactic. And there's also another thing. We also rotate our DIDs every 2 weeks. Because if a DID is not flagged as spam, we keep using it. And if a DID gets flagged, we immediately remove it from a rotation and replace it with a fresh pre-verified number. We're constantly cycling through fresh DIDs to maintain reputation. And the result, our connection rate is significantly higher than the industry standard at the volume that we do. When a prospect sees a call coming from one of our DIDs, they pick up. They don't see spam likely. They see a legitimate number and they answer. Now, let me talk about abandonment rate. That is a metric that most call centers don't even track, but it's critical. Abandonment rate is the percentage of calls that get dropped without being answered by an agent in industry. Anything above 5% is actually illegal. The FTC has regulations around this. If your abandonment rate is too high, you can get fined. Now our abandonment rate is 0.97%. That's less than 1%. That's almost perfect. And think about what that means. Out of every 1,000 calls that connect, only about 10 of them get abandoned. The other 990 are being answered by an agent. That's incredible efficiency. Now, why does this matter? Because every abandoned call is a potential lost opportunity. Every abandoned call potentially is a prospect who is motivated and wanted to sell enough to pick up the phone, but then got hung up on. It's lost revenue. If your abandonment rate is 5% and you're making 100,000 calls a month, that's 5,000 abandoned calls right there. That's 5,000 potential leads that you lost. But with our 0.97% abandonment rate, you're only losing 970 out of every 100,000. That's more leads. That's more deals. That's more money. That is the smart waterfall system that eliminates abandonment by routing calls to waiting agents instead of dropping them. It's not complicated. It's just smart engineering. Now let's talk about wait time. This is the time between when an agent finishes one call and connects to the next one. Like I said, in that perfect world, it would be 0. An agent finishes at 2:15 p.m. We want them to immediately connect to a call at 2:15 p.m. No dead time, maximum efficiency. But that's not realistic. There's always going to be some dead time. The question is, how much? Who here thinks about that? Most likely not. Probably just hire VAs and just like, I want leads. Or use a call center and just say, I want leads. Well, in the industry, anything under 40 seconds is considered good. Anything above 60 seconds is considered bad. We target 33 to 40 seconds. That's our sweet spot. But why? There's a balance. If wait time is too fast, under 20 seconds, your agents burn out. I could have a 2-second wait time if I wanted to. If I turned up the DIDs and I had enough agents in our pod to reroute the connected calls to. But guess what? All of our callers are humans. Imagine for 4 hours straight speaking to someone every 2 seconds. You burn out. They're constantly on calls. They don't have time to breathe. They don't have time to take notes. They get exhausted. You lose great talent. Turnover goes up. Costs go up. But if you wait, time is too slow, over 60 seconds, you're paying your agents to do nothing. They're sitting around waiting for the next call. That's wasted payroll. That's inefficiency. So we target 33 to 40 seconds, and that's enough time for the agent to take a breath, write down the notes from the previous call, grab some water, and prepare for the next one. But it's not too much time where they're sitting idle. Here's the thing. The smart waterfall system is constantly optimizing for this. If wait time starts to creep up, like I said, the system automatically increases the dialer speed. It adds more DIDs. It makes more calls. It gets more connections. It brings the wait time back down. This is all happening automatically. The system is making thousands of micro adjustments every single second to keep wait time in the optimal range. It's like that thermostat for your calling operation. It's constantly adjusting to maintain the perfect temperature. The results, maximum agent productivity, and agents are always on calls. They're always talking to prospects and they're always generating leads and they're not burned out because they just have enough breathing room between calls. So let me tie this all together. Here's what's happening in a pod of 25 agents. All 25 agents are working on similar campaigns. When I say same campaign, real estate, because the script, the framework that we teach is the same, whether we're calling in New York or California. So they're calling these properties with our AI data that puts us in the highest likelihood of finding someone who has a higher probability of wanting to sell. They're generating the leads. The system is managing everything. Each agent has 5 DIDs to start, but the system is monitoring the wait time. If wait time goes up, the system adds more. If it goes down, they might remove the DIDs, and it's constantly adjusting. When calls connect, the system is routing them intelligently. If an agent is on a call and another call connects on a different DID, the system is routing the agents who are waiting. No abandonment. no dropped calls. The system is monitoring DID reputation at all times. So if a DID gets flagged as spam, it's automatically removed and replaced with a fresh pre-verified number. Connection rates stay high. The system is tracking wait time. If it gets too high, the dialer speeds up. If it gets too low, the dialer slows down. Rinse and repeat. The agents stay productive. And that's how each agent can efficiently make 3,000 dials a day without burning out. That's 75,000 dials per pod per day. And that's a lot of dials over the month. And this is all being managed by the AI. No human intervention, no manual adjustment. It's all automatic. The system is making thousands of decisions every minute. It's optimizing for efficiency. It's optimizing for results. This is why we could generate 100,000 off-market seller leads a year. This is why our clients close more deals. This is why we go and dominate markets. This is the smart waterfall dying system, and it separates us from everyone else. Okay, let me take a sip of my energy drink. Now that you understand the power of AI data, you understand the sophistication of our smart waterfall dialer. Here's the truth. None of that matters if you don't have great agents. Think about what happens in a typical call center. They hire anyone who has a breath. They put them in on the phone with the script, they hope for the best, and no training. No standards, no accountability. It's a revolving door of mediocre talent, and the results are predictable. Low conversion rates, high turnover, and mediocre leads. Most call centers, especially the ones overseas, have 40% monthly churn rate. That means 40% of their agents quit every single month. They're constantly hiring, they're constantly training. They're too busy focusing on bringing on new agents to fulfill for their current clients and taking the agents that they have and making them better. It's chaos. It's inefficient. Why most cold calling campaigns fail. How do I know this? We've done it before. We're not perfect. How the heck can we get to where we are now without making mistakes? I speak from first person point of view. I have made these mistakes before, but mistakes are how you get better. But now we do the opposite. Our monthly churn rate with agents is 15%. Why 15%? We fire a lot of the underperforming ones because going into how our hiring funnel works, which we can bring on mass people at scale. We need to worry about filling people in the pipeline because we have so many on the bench. Our agents stay. Our agents are committed. Our agents are professionals. And that's because we built a hiring and training system that's unlike anything else in the industry. Let me walk you through exactly how we hire. I'm telling you right now, this is rigorous. See this right here? This is our funnel. We view it like marketing. We need to be getting applicants in the top of the funnel, and we need to be withering them down to the best ones. And guess what? Once we funnel them down, we now throw them through our training and onboarding, which funnels it down even more. So this is a very selective process. It's why we only hire around 4% of all applicants. We go through roughly 10,000 interviews a month. Yeah, 10,000. Our advantage is in the volume which you can hire people. Because if I only have 5 agents that I'm interviewing, I operate in a mindset of scarcity that if they leave, if they underperform, I can't fire them. Like I don't have anyone else. But when you have so much volume, you could rinse and repeat all of the bad ones. Like I said, we interview roughly 10,000 every single month. That's 120,000 per year. Out of those 120,000 applicants, like I said, we hire around 4,800, and that's a 4% acceptance rate. And as you know, we have 400 agents because we are constantly churning the bottom 20 to 30%, the underperformers. That's raising the standard. That's getting the best results. We are more selective than Harvard, but here's the thing. We're not just looking for anyone. We have the ability to recruit from top colleges. I think we are the second biggest real estate call center in Egypt. But guess what? We have phenomenal brand there. People want to come work with us. We're in the job fairs there. If you guys ever been to a job fair at your college, they have booths. We have that. We're recruiting from other successful call centers. Why? We pay them more. They want to come work with us. We have better culture. We're looking for people who already have proven they could succeed in this environment. And the process starts with an online application. And this is what we look for. We want to know about the real estate experience. We want to know about their cold calling experience. We want to know about their background. And we're filtering for people who have the foundation that we need already. Then comes the video interview. This is where we assess tonality, accent, presence, and we're looking for people with a neutral accent. We're looking for people who sound crisp and professional. We're looking for people who have great energy, and we can tell a lot from the first 20 seconds of a video interview. Shout out to Dean Kazora. He told us, hey, look at the first 10, 15 seconds. They give you a weird feeling, they're not fit. And if they pass the video interview, they move to a human interview. This is a deeper conversation where we assess whether they're hungry, are they motivated, are they coachable, do they have the right attitude? And we're looking for people who are hungry, who want to succeed, who are willing to be coached. Then we have placement. This is where we verify their setup. Do they have a good microphone? Do they have high-speed internet? Do they have a quiet space to work? I'm sure you guys have probably heard VAs before especially in like the Philippines, where there's just like chickens, making noises in the back. These are all the little things that most people don't take into account, but they're critical. A bad microphone means the prospect can't hear you clearly. Slow internet means the call drops. A noisy environment means you can't focus. And we're filtering for people who have the basics right. And here's the key: we're disqualifying people immediately if they have the red flags. Thick accent, they're out. Uncoachable, they're out. Bad internet, poor microphone, they're out. History of job hopping, they're out. They have too much experience and they think they know everything, they're out. We're being ruthless about who we bring in. The entire hiring process takes 2 to 4 weeks. It's not fast, it's thorough. And the result is that we're bringing in people who are genuinely ready to succeed. Because once someone is hired, they don't go straight to the phones. They go through an intensive 2 week training program. And I mean intensive, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours per week. The training is a mix of online courses, shadowing, and live training. And here's what we cover. Start with the fundamentals: introduction to the company, key terms, real estate overview, real estate investing 101. We want everyone to understand the basics. We want everyone to know what these leads are used for. We want everyone to understand the importance of cold calling in the real estate industry. Then we dive into the skills: mastering the art of cold calling, mastering the art of sales. We teach them real definitions of off-market real estate transactions. We teach them the cold calling best practices. We teach them what not to say on a call. We teach them objections and rebuttals, full script walkthrough. But here's the thing: this isn't just classroom learning. They're shadowing experienced agents. They're listening to calls. They're learning by osmosis. They're seeing how the best agents handle different situations. They're learning the nuances that can't be taught in a classroom. And here's the brutal part: 30% of those people don't make it through training. We drop agents in training. We're not afraid to say, this isn't working. You don't meet our standard. You're not cut out for this. We're letting you go. And I take pride in this. I love this. I go to my HR team and they tell me, hey, we cut 50% of our new batch. I'm like, man, I love that. So that's the standard that you have to maintain to be able to scale quality over a large amount of people. Because the people who make it through the training have mastered the 5 key skills. Tonality, they know how to sound professional, confident, and trustworthy on the phone. Second, questions, they know how to ask the right questions to qualify a prospect. Third, they can handle objections. Fourth, they have real estate knowledge. They understand the business. Most importantly, they know what a motivated seller looks like. Fifth, they understand the script and when to deviate from it. Because I hate scripts. Scripts sound like robots. Who here has gotten a call where they sound like a robot, or went on a sales call where it's like you're reading off a script? I like frameworks. I like people to be friendly. I want them to have great conversations, because that rapport that happens on the first call, it translates over to the other phone or to the first conversation. But it doesn't end after the 2 weeks. We have everyday coaching. Every single day, our team leaders are coaching the agents on all of those things right there. And we're continuously developing our agents. We have built a system where people can't succeed. We've built an environment where people feel valued. Our agents know they're part of something bigger. They're not just making calls. They're part of a machine that generates 100,000 motivated seller leads a year. They're part of a system that helps wholesalers and real estate professionals all over the country build real businesses. They're part of something that matters. That's our competitive advantage. That's why we dominate the markets. It's not just the data. It's not just the dialer. It's the people. It's the culture. So now you understand the system. You understand the dial to deal algorithm. But here's the real question: how do you leverage these systems? How do I get the best results? Well, you can go do it yourself. I just told you exactly how to. You guys are going to have this recording. Go do it yourself. Not a problem. Pulling everything back. Because if I can go do it, so can you. I am a human. I could do it. You can't do it. We all have access to the same resources. I'll tell you right now, it's a grind. I've spent millions of dollars prospecting these systems, and I've spent my fair share of time doing things the wrong way. Keep it real with you guys. We're not perfect. We're humans. But guess what? From doing things the wrong way, we learned how to do them the right way. So you don't have to do it yourself. Which is exactly why I have something for you. Something we've never done before. And I call it the No Accent Callers Market Domination Package. Because knowing how to run an elite cold calling system is way different than running it yourself. And here's what we do for you: we handle everything. We get you the callers who have real estate experience. You don't hire, you don't train. We give you the pre-trained experienced callers ready to generate leads immediately. Per caller, we pull 15,000 AI data records of your specific market. You got 5 callers, that's 75,000 records per month. Skip trace, verified, ready to call. You specify the market, we deliver the records. We plug you into our private carrier dialer with the pre-verified TIDs. No spam flags, no connection issues, no configuration headaches. You get the weapon, it's already optimized, and we manage the smart waterfall system. minimize abandon rate, decrease wait time, maximize efficiency. We handle the optimization. You get the results. We qualify the leads with the 4 pillars of motivation: asking price, timeline, motivation, property condition, and every lead is qualified. Every lead is ready to close. And we also give you a free Go High Level CRM that is pre-built, pre-configured with SMS automations, follow-up automations. Everything is ready to go. And on top of that, we have access to Investor Lift Cartel mode, and we will get your deals at 0% JV, 0% setup fee. Why? We just want you to make money. We help you find the buyers. You keep 100% of the assignment, no middlemen. And you thought that was good, it gets better. Because you are on this webinar today, we are also adding a special webinar bonus that we have never done ever before. Per one caller, you're getting an additional 15 PPL leads per caller, all with the 4 pillars of motivation for free. That's $1,500 in value right there. And there's more. A free lead manager placement to work all of your leads, whose salary is $4 to $6 an hour. Because normally we charge $5,000 for that placement fee, but because you're here, we're doing it for free. And here's what that means. You don't make the calls, you don't manage the data, you don't configure the dialers, you don't qualify the leads, you don't post anything. You don't manage anything. And our chat is broken right now. We were going to put the book a call link right there. So what we are going to do right now is we are going to be sending you a text to book a call to take access of this right now. And this is exactly what it looks like. Our webinar exclusive prepay offer. Everything is a function of all of that. So normally, if you were to do a 3-month agreement for us, the pricing is on the left. But if you are on this webinar, not only are we giving you 10% off to bump the monthly equivalent lower, but you're also getting these bonuses. So we are going to be texting you the link right now. If this is something that you are interested in, book a call, because this is exclusive and one time. Because with the bonuses as well, they also scale with the volume. Guess what? You want to do one caller. Cool, you'll get 15 leads and one placement. You want to do 5 callers? You'll get 75 PPL leads and 5 placements. The more callers that you get, the more bonuses that you get. But also, the lower the price per caller gets. You see that this is normally $15.45 a caller right here. And it can get all the way down to $1,100, $1,200 per caller, which includes everything that I said. And on top of that, you are getting the PPL leads that are all have the 4 pillars of motivation: asking price, timeline, motivation, and condition of the property in your specific market and your zip code. And the beautiful thing about the PPL leads is that you get a free replacement if the lead is already listed, if it's already sold, or the wrong homeowner information. And you're getting the free lead manager placement, which is normally a $5K placement fee. And you pay them $4 to $6 an hour, but we're doing that 100% for free for you. Like I said, it includes all of those things. So placements never expire and they can be used anytime. And that's what's included in the package. The system is done for you. Pre-chain real estate cold callers, Egyptian based, 15,000 records per one caller per month. Like I said, if you get 5 callers, you're getting 75 of these 8 AI records. You're getting the dialer, you're getting the DIDs, all of that stuff, the smart waterfalling system, CRM, investor lift, the leads, the PPL, book a call to speak with my team. And I know you guys are thinking, Ben, this is December right now. I want to get started in January. And I would tell you, hell yeah. I don't want to be calling leads in December right now because we know, call me after Christmas, call me after New Year's. Just why that for this offer, if you prepay something that you need in your business and that you're going to be using next year, leads, I don't like this is not tax advice, but if you made money this year, front load some of your expenses right now to have your leads in January. We can get you started in January. So that for January, February, March, your lead gen's already paid for. You're able to take advantage of all these bonuses. You're able to have all these systems in place. So we are texting you the link to book a call. And like I said, this offer is specifically for the webinar. Now that you understand the data, now you understand the dialer and the agents, you understand the volume and filter that needs. But one thing that wholesalers don't understand, and this is critical, is 80% of your deals are not closed on the first contact. 80% of your deals. Think about that. This means that if you're only making one call to a lead, you're leaving 80% of your deals on the table. But here's where it gets interesting. Most wholesalers already have paid for these deals. They're sitting in their CRM right now. They're in their dead lead pile. And these leads, they called once, got a no, and abandoned. That's your gold mine right there. Think about it. You already spent the money to generate the lead. You already spent the money on the dial. You already spent the money on everything. And you made the initial contact. probably had, a bad sales process and was expecting them to sign one contract on one call. But the one thing you didn't do was follow up. So you have a pile of leads that you paid money to get. Leads already in your system. Leads you've already touched. And you're treating them like they're worthless, but they're not worthless. They're your most valuable asset. Because here's the reality of the sales cycle. A seller's motivation is not a static event. It's a dynamic process. A seller who says no on day one might say yes on day 60 because they lost their job, they got a divorce, or the property is causing them money, or their life circumstances have changed. We are dealing with humans. Humans are irrational. If humans were logical and everything was the way that we thought about it, man, we'd be in a totally different world. So they might say, I want to sell one day, and the next day, never call me again. Guess what? That's the game. And the wholesaler who is still there on day 60, day 365, day 700 is the one who gets the deal. And that's the gap. That's the opportunity. That's why you're leaving money on the table. Now, before we talk about how to follow up, you need to understand something critical. When a lead says no, they're not saying never. They're saying something else. They all require follow-up. They all require you to stay in the conversation. They all require you to not give up after one call. And this is where most wholesalers fail. They give up. They move on to the next lead. They don't understand that the no is not a rejection. The no is an invitation to follow up. So now you understand why follow-up works. Let me show you exactly how to do it. This is the 30-day follow framework. This is assuming we've gotten the lead. Let's say we've called them a couple times, built up a rapport, and we made our offer, and they said no. Not we called them right away and they said no. We've already worked the lead. This is the system that converts your dead leads into deals. And the key principle is this. You're going to touch the lead multiple times over 30 days. I know it's super basic. You're going to use different channels. You're going to provide value at each step because the homeowners can tell the difference between a transaction and value. I'm here to help versus I'm here to make money. It is very, very, very clear. You're going to build trust and you're going to keep them top of mind because in follow-up, we need to reframe the way we think about it. It is not to close the deal. Of course, that is our goal. Why am I saying it's not to close the deal if we're here to close deals and make money? It's to be top of mind so that when they are ready, because it's not an if they are going to sell, it is a when. There's a reason why they took a random phone call and said yes, they wanted to sell. There's a reason why they filled out your PPC form. There's a reason why they called back on your piece of mail. Just got to be in front of it. So day one, immediate response after the no, and it's just a follow-up. Same day if possible, you send a text or a voicemail. Just wanted to connect about the property, available now. And the goal is just to show responsiveness. You're not being pushy. You're just showing that you're available. Day two, reinforce value. On day two, you send an email or a text. The message is, you're looking to sell without the hassle or showing I can provide a clear cash offer. Like, we're still on top of them. Like, I know they said no. They're not going to like us. Who cares? We're still on that. And the goal is to remind them the benefits of working. Because we're not asking them, hey, you want a cash offer because you're trying to convert it. It is just to subconsciously plant in their mind quick and fast. Why do people go off market? Not because they want best price, speed and ease. You're not asking for a decision. You're reminding them of the value. Next, we have the soft ping. The message is just wanted to circle back, still open to chatting. This is low pressure reminder. You're not being aggressive. You're just checking in. Next, we're going to have the curiosity nudge. You see how they said no and we've called or texted them 4 or 5 times in that week? That's the type of follow-up we need to be on. It's a volume game. You send a ringless voicemail on a text. Still looking at properties in your area. Thought of yours again. No pressure, just checking in if the timing is better. The goal is to re-engage their interest without a hard pitch. You're showing them you're still active in the market. You're showing them that you're still thinking about them. Next, we provide value. Saw property on blah, 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 just sold. Curious if you're sharing your thoughts on selling. We want to offer personalized insight. You're providing market data. You're showing that you could understand them in their market. You're giving them the reason to think about selling. Day 10, open door message. Totally understand if now is not the time because you have to remember these guys are going to be like, no, fuck off. And we're probably just not going to respond. We're still on that. That's the difference between great wholesalers, shit ones. We're process oriented. The more follow-ups we can make by default, the more deals we are going to close. The door is always open if you want to revisit. And that's a very important message. You're removing pressure. You're showing that you respect their decision. You're building trust by not being pushy. This is the protection. No, overcome. You're showing that you're different. Showing that you're not going to pressure them because when the time is right for them to make a decision, you want to be top of mind. That's all. Day 14, another follow-up call. Leave a voicemail, just following up as promised. If it makes sense to connect this week, I'll make a time. The goal is to demonstrate professionalism and consistency. You're showing you're reliable. You're showing that you do what you say you're going to do. Day 17, objection. We now want to find what the objection is. You send a text. Is this a timing thing or just not interested at the moment? Either way is fine. The goal is to give them an easy way to tell you what the real issue is. You're trying to identify which type of no this is, because that's how we're able to handle the objection. Is this a protection no? If this is an information no, is it a timing no? This helps you tailor your follow-up more and more. Day 21, social proof, text, email, voicemail. Just help the seller, blah, blah, blah. Boom, I'm happy to help. And the goal is to provide social proof that you're showing that you can help other sellers. You're showing you can get deals done and you're building credibility. And day 25, there's a soft pass on. You send a text. I'm going to close your file right now. I'm just a message away if anything changed. The goal is to keep the relationship intact while creating a sense of finality. You're not being aggressive. You're just saying that you're moving on. The door is open. And this is important. You're not burning the bridge. And on day 30, we make one final call. Just want to touch base one last time. Happy to help. And guess what? You rinse and repeat this over and over every single month. Forever. Notice something about the sequence. You're not calling them every single day. You're not spamming them. You're not being too pushy. We're being a little bit pushy, but not too pushy. You're being strategic. You're using different channels. You're providing value. You're building trust. You're respecting their time, and you're touching them 11 times over 30 days, 2 to 3 times per week. That golden frequency. That's enough to build familiarity. That's enough to build trust. And most wholesalers give up. They mark the lead as dead, and they move on. And that's where they're making a massive mistake, because this is where the real gold mine is. The goal is no longer to get an immediate response. The goal is to stay top of mind. The goal is to be the first person they call when their situation changes. A lead should never be marked as dead, even if the seller says never contact them again. Otherwise, they remain in your nurturing sequence indefinitely. It's not uncommon for a lead to convert 12, 18, or even 24 months after the initial contact. Think about that. A lead you touched once and got a no. A lead you thought was dead. A lead that has been in your nurturing sequence for 18 months. And then they call you. Their situation has changed. Timing is not right, and they're ready to sell. And they call you first because you've stayed in touch. It's very similar to direct mail, where you send your piece of mail and they might take that postcard and they throw it into their desk and wait 9 or 10 months. But when the time is right, they remember that postcard. Boom, they call you in. It's the best lead that you can get. The best lead you can get is someone who's called you back after 18 months of follow-up saying, hey, I'm ready to go. That's what we need to do. Because you've provided value, because you've been top of mind. Because here's the reality. Understanding the opportunity and executing it are two different things. Because here's what happens. You get excited about the follow-up system. You understand the power of it. You commit to implementing it. And what? Life happens. You're busy. You're closing deals. You're managing your team. You're handling operations. You're dealing with problems in the follow-up. Oh, the follow-up gets pushed to the back burner. Let me go get more leads. And tell yourself, oh, I'll follow up with those leads tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. You're busy again. And day after day, you're busy again. And a week goes by, 2 weeks, a month goes by, and suddenly you're not following up at all. You're back to the old pattern. Maybe you call them 1 or 2 months later. Oh, I already sold. God, that has happened to me too many times. And I'm sure it's happened to some of you guys as well, too. You follow up with someone, oh, I sold 2 weeks ago. That is pain right there. There's no worse feeling. And it's just a function of bad follow-up systems. Generating leads, closing deals, and you're leaving 80% of your deals on the table because you're not following up, and that is the trap. This is where most wholesalers fail, because they understand the system, they know what works, but they can't execute because they're doing everything themselves. You're generating leads, you're calling leads, you're qualifying them, you're following up on the leads, you're closing deals, you're managing your team, you're handling operations, and you're doing everything. And because you're doing everything, you're doing nothing well. And here's what I want you to understand. You have a zone of genius, a specific skill that you are uniquely good at. And that skill is closing deals. If you were closing deals in real estate, man, this is tough. No one said it's easy. It's simple, but it's easy. You are good. You are a cash collector. It is your job to get these properties under contract, and you should be spending all of your time focusing on that. But if you're not doing that, if you're out of your zone of genius, because the zone of genius is where you create the most value, it's where you make the most money. You're spending 80% of your time doing the wrong things. You're making the calls, you're sending a text, you're following up on the leads, you're managing operations, you're handling logistics. These are important. but it's not the highest leverage thing to do. It's not where you need to be spending your time. And when you're doing these things, you're not doing what you do best, closing deals. Think about the math. So you can close 10 deals a month. Each deal is a $10,000 assignment fee. That's $100K a month, 1.2 million a year. But you're not spending all those hours closing deals. You're spending them on follow-up, ops, all of that stuff. Follow-up is not getting done, or it's getting done poorly. It's getting done inconsistently. This is the cost doing it yourself. This is the opportunity cost of not having leverage. So here's the solution. You hire a lead manager. It's like the easiest thing to do that nobody does. Why? They want to do it all themselves. A dedicated person whose only job it is to work your old pipeline and follow up. That's it. That's their job. They're not closing deals. They're not managing your team. They're not handling ops. They're following up on your leads. They're making the calls. They're sending the texts. They're sending the emails. They're touching the leads every single time. And you're doing what you do best. You're making the money. And if a lead manager is working your old pipeline and following up correctly, they should revive at least one additional deal per month. And the difference between a wholesaler who scales and a wholesaler who stays stuck, it's not knowledge. It's not strategy. It's not tactics. It's leverage. A wholesaler who scales up has delegated the follow-up. They have a lead manager. They have systems. They have a process. They have leverage. A wholesaler who stays stuck doing everything themselves, they're making the calls. They're sending the texts. They're following up. They're closing deals. They're managing the team. They are doing everything. They're stressed and they're leaving money on the table. It's not work ethic, the difference. It's not talent. It's leverage. So here's the question. Like, are you going to continue to do everything yourself? That's the decision you need to make. And the wholesalers who are winning, the wholesalers who are scaling, the wholesalers who are dominating your market, they made that decision. They've hired a lead manager. They've delegated the follow-up. They focused on closing the deals, and leverage allows them to do that more. You might only be able to handle 50 leads a month. Your competition, the one beating you to every single deal, taking money right from under your nose, they can handle 5,000 leads a month. You think you can compete with them? Hell no. That's why they're dominating you. That's why they're taking your lunch money, because they're better at you. They have better systems. And you have two paths forward. You could take all this information and implement it yourself. You could build your own data system. You could set up your own dialer. You could hire and train your own callers. You could build your own follow-up system and hire your own lead managers. You could do all this. It's possible. But here's what it requires. It requires months. It requires hiring. It requires training. It requires mistakes. It requires optimization. It requires patience. You're looking at 6 to 8 months before you have a system that's generating you consistent results. You can have the system in one day. I promise you that. But a system that's actually working takes time, takes optimization. You're going to make hiring mistakes. You're going to make training failures. You're going to mess up on everything. And how do I know this? I have done it before. I have made all these mistakes myself. My clients make these same mistakes. Every single business, whether it's real estate, whether it's a software, they all make these mistakes. And during that time where you're building up your systems, you're not closing deals. You're not making money. And next thing you know, you run out of money and you have to let go of these systems because you can't afford them. So path number 2 is you plug into our system, the one that we can do infinitely better than what you can do. You could skip the 6 to 8 months of building. You could skip the hiring mistakes. You could skip the training failures. You could skip the optimization. You could start generating leads immediately. You don't have to do any of this. Remember, we get you callers who have real estate experience. You don't hire, you don't train. We give you pre-trained experienced callers ready to generate you leads immediately. We pull you 15,000 AI data records of your specific market per caller every single month. You got 5 callers, that's 75,000 records per month based on your state, county, town, zip code, all the 1,700 data points that we have every month. Skip, trace, and verified, ready to call. This is your list too. You say, Ben, send me over the data. I want to send mail to it. I want to text it. It's your data. This is our unique list to you. And we plug you into our private carrier dialer with pre-verified DIDs. No spam flags, no connection issues, no configuration headaches. You get the weapon. It's already optimized. And we manage that whole smart waterfall system to minimize abandon rate, decrease wait time, maximize efficiency. We handle the optimization and you get the results. We qualify the leads with the 4 pillars of motivation: asking price, timeline, motivation, property condition. Every lead is qualified. Every lead is ready to close. We give you the free Go High Level CRM, pre-built, pre-configured SMS automations, follow-up automations. Everything is ready to go. We can post your deals on InvestorLift, cartel mode, 0% JV. We'll help you find the buyers. You keep 100% of the assignment fee, no JV, no middlemen. Why? I just want you to make money. You come to me, we get you leads, you close deals, you make money, you get more callers. That's how my business grows. Thought that was good? Told you, it gets better. Because you're on the webinar. This is the first time we've ever done this. Probably the only time we'll ever do it. Why? We have that special bonus for you, and it is only for right here and right now. You get those 15 PPL leads per caller, all with the 4 pillars of motivation. You get the free lead management replacement per caller. It's $5,000 value per caller right there. Remember, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 callers. The more callers you get, the lower the cost per caller gets. And when you do the prepay, which you could start getting leads in January, you prepay now, get it into January, because I do not want you getting leads with Christmas coming up, with New Year's coming up, because we know those objections we're going to get. And why would we, waste our time, energy, and most importantly, dollars getting leads in a time where we know it's not going to be more efficient? I talk about edge, I talk about tactics, I talk about being efficient. Doing it right now is not the best time. Having it ready for January, February, March, April, May, so that we have great leads coming into the summer season is everything. Like I said, the more callers you get, the lower cost per caller gets. So you get 1 caller, 15,000 records, 1 dialer. You want to do 2, 3, 4, and 5. It just goes up from there. 2 callers is 30,000 records. 3 callers is 45. You know what I'm saying right there. You get the discount, you get the lower price per caller, and then also you get the bonuses. You want to get 5 callers right there. That's 5 PPL leads right there with 100% replacement. You also get 5 lead manager placements. Like I said, we normally charge a 5K fee right there. We are wiping all of that. So we texted you the link. Book a call right now with our team because we are only doing this for this webinar. We have calendar space open today. If you want to speak to my team, we have calendar space open for Sunday. We also have calendar space open for Monday. And these are the only 3 days we are doing this for. Why? Oh my God, my team is going to hate me. Because guess what? When we do these lead manager placements, for example, I have my HR team. We got 4 people right there who handle everything because we're pretty system oriented. They have to manually go interview all of these lead manager placements. They're going to hate me when all of these ones are coming in. Well, guess what? I want you guys to have these systems to scale in 2026. I want you guys to dominate. I want you guys to make money. Why? Because you reinvest back with more clothes. That's how my business grows. Is this a guarantee? Hell no. I'm not here to sell you the dream. I'm not here to say you're going to make 50, 60, 70, 100K in 1 month. Anybody who tells you that, they are fucking lying to you. I'm here to tell you that the best business owners, the best wholesalers, my clients, the ones who are doing 80 deals a month, they don't just do cold calling. Man, they do PPC. They do direct mail. They do SMS. They do everything. Why? Because they need a crazy amount of volume of leads. They have systems. They have dedicated lead managers, dedicated acquisition managers. And my job here is to give you these systems right here who will allow you to scale, allow you to buy your time back to not being stuck in your business, but being able to work on your business so that you could be in your zone of genius and just focus on closing deals. You have leads coming in. Each caller normally gets around 20 to 25 leads per month, give or take the market. You have another 15 leads from the PPL right there. Assume you close 1 in 25. That's 1.5 deals right there. Average assignment fee, 10K. This is just math. This is just me financially modeling. These are not guarantees. But this is how we need to be looking at it. This is an investment into our business. Look, for 2 callers, it's $12.50 a month per caller. What do you get with that? Caller, presenting real estate experience, 30,000 to AI records, 30 leads, 2 VA placements for literally $2,500 a month. And you prepay it right now so that you can have it in January, so that you can start your business the right way. Like I said, book a call with our team right now because we are only doing this webinar bonus 1 time. Why? Special occasion for you guys right now. And thank you guys so much for listening to me rant. Very, very passionate about what I do, the systems that I have, and we are continuously trying to get better. We are continuously trying to provide the most amount of value possible for our clients. I am not perfect. My team is not perfect. I promise you, we have made our fair share of mistakes in the past. Something I tell my team all the time. Continuous improvement. How can we get 1% better? How can we provide the most amount of value? How can we get our clients the most amount of results possible? So we are only doing this 1 time. Book your call. Like I said, you can get leads, you can get these systems so that You have them ready for January, February, March, April. These prices will never be here again. We are just running this crazy promotion to make sure that you guys are prepared for January, February, March, April, so that when hot season comes on, April, May, June, July, August, you have the pipeline. It's warmed up. People are ready to sell. So at the end of the day, you guys make money, you reinvest back and get more callers. That's how my business grows. If you are a smaller wholesaler and you need more leads, man, one caller right there. What, 1,400 a month right there, and you're going to get 15 leads and a placement. I would love nothing more for you to get a deal where you make 10K. And instead of going and blowing it on a fucking Lambo or a trip, you can't even get a Lambo for 10K. You go get two callers, you go get three callers, because that's how you get more leads. That's how you have more volume. That's how you start clawing back your market share that the best people in your market already have. My job is to give you the enterprise systems that the biggest players that you guys can do so you can leverage it in your business. If you are one of my bigger clients right here, I am trying to get you the most amount of leads at the lowest cost per lead. But because we know if your consistent closing rates is one contract that pays you 10K for every 25 leads, and I can get you leads at $50 a lead, 25 times 50, that is a 125, or oops, 25 times 50. That is a $1,250 cost to acquire a contract. And let's say you pay your acquisition guys 20%. We just made 7K in profit right there, which allows you to invest more because we know it is math. So for my guys who are looking to go into 2026 incredibly strong and ready to go and ready to scale, man, one caller is absolutely awesome because you get to plug into the system that the biggest guys you can have. For my guys who are on the bigger side, I want to make sure that you have the most economical cost per lead so that you could systematically scale because it is just math. You want to go do 25 deals per month and you need 25 leads to get one deal that closes and pay you 10K. What do you need? You need 625 leads per month. It is math. It is reverse engineering. And at the end of the day, for all my real estate guys, Ben Mala. If it makes sense, it makes dollars. Because if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars. How can we make it as economical for you so that, no, we're not just another lead gen company. We're a partner with you for quite some time because your success with the systems I'm able to put in place, which, like I said, is not a guarantee. I can get you the best leads in the world, but if you cannot close them, it's not me, bro. It's on you. But you get leads, you close them, you reinvest, you get more callers because you want to scale. That's how my business grows. So those are the best partnerships right there. So I appreciate every single one of you guys hopping on this call right now. I wish I had the chat working. If you guys showed up within like the first 5 minutes before it started, saw that I was muted and was like trying to figure out the chat, I messed up. My bad, guys. I wish I had you guys more interactive. I wish I had you guys asking questions in there. So I would have just dropped the link right there. But we should have sent you the link. I pray to God that we did because I have just been doing this the whole entire time. So this is your last chance to book the call. We're not going to be doing this ever again. You are going to be getting the webinar recording, but it's just to watch. Like I said, if you want to go build these systems yourself, you'll have this whole entire webinar to do it. But guess what? Promise you, they're not as good as me. It's not because of you guys. I'm good at what I do. Like I said, you don't get to managing 400 callers. You not get to generating 100,000 leads a year if you are not good at what you do. I am not perfect. We have made mistakes in the past, and I promise you I will make so many more mistakes and not be perfect in the future. But you know what? The one thing I'm committed to? Getting better results because the ability to get better, the ability to progress and provide more value, it is directly correlated to my clients. My clients who I want to scale, who I need them to scale, because my business is only able to grow if you guys make money off the systems that I am able to get you. It is not a guarantee. It is not a you are going to make 100K. I promise you. Anyone telling you that is bullshitting you. But I can tell you, and I can guarantee you, is that systems are everything. How can you do more volume? How can you get an edge? How can you get better tactics that give you that 2, 3, 4, 5% higher likelihood of closing deals, of getting better? Because when we compound that over a longer period of time, next thing you know, you got a giant ass business and you've been able to achieve everything that you want, but you only get paid in this world as a function of how good you are in your systems. Your business is only making as amount of money as it wants because of how good you are as a business owner, which is why I put on this webinar to tell you how to think, to give you the correct systems, to get you to be better. Because the beautiful thing about this world is we're all human. There's no difference between Jeff Bezos and the homeless person on the street. But why is Jeff Bezos able to go build Amazon and the homeless person homeless? They're both human. It's a function of their skills. That's all it is. My job is to educate you guys. I don't have a course. I don't have a training. I might get texts of mentorship. I promise you I will say no. I'm not here to be a fucking guru. I'm a fucking business owner. I'm proud of what I do. I love what we do. And it's my job to put you guys in the best position possible. So one last time, running through exactly what we have. Let's go for one caller. One caller who is pre-trained with real estate experience, 15,000 AI records, pull and skip trace every single month. You're getting the dialer, where you do the training, the management, the quality control. You're getting the free Go High Level CRM that is pre-built with all of our follow-up automation. You are getting free JVs and investor lift that most people pay 5K or 50% of their deal for. And on top of that, you are going to be getting 15 free PPL leads, one VA placement for the lead manager at $4 to $6 per hour. And that is what we normally charge 5K for, all for free. And like I said, the more callers you get, the longer term, because we are prepaying this for next year. I don't want anybody getting leads in December because of Christmas, because of New Year's. It's unnecessary think about it and follow-ups after objections that we don't need to be spending our money for. But you get two callers. You get 30,000 records, two dialers, 30 PPL leads, two placements, and so on. Hypothetically, someone wants to get 8 callers right now. 8 callers times 15,000 records, 120,000 records of this AI-enabled data with the scores, pull and skip trace every single month. And that's unique to you. You want to text it. You want to mail it. It is your data. Then you're also getting what? 8 times 15, 120 PPL leads that have free replacements if it's listed with an agent, if it's already sold, or if there's wrong homeowner information. And on top of that, you are getting 8 free lead manager placements. We could do acquisition managers, we could do cold callers, all of that stuff. I can even do back end for you. I have so much we could do on the hiring side, but we are only doing this one time. So make sure to book your call. Make sure to hop on with our team so that we could start off in 2026 absolutely dominating with the correct systems and scale our motherfucking businesses to achieve what we want. Whether that's financial freedom, location freedom, cars, watches, whatever the hell that you guys want. Because there is a reason why you guys are on this call. There's a reason why you chose to listen to me rant for the past hour and 7 minutes. It's because you want more out of something. I don't know what that more is for you, because if you were happy with everything that you had, you would not have spent a single hour on your precious Saturday listening to me talk. So this is the last chance. Book your call, hop on up with our team. We have today open, we have Sunday open, we have Monday open, and that's it. We are not doing anything else. Like I said, the more callers you get, the lower the cost per caller gets. You want to prepay 4 more months. Like I said, I'm not a tax. This is not tax advice, but front load a little bit of expenses, blah, 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 blah. Be ready to dominate for January, February, March, April, May, June, so that we go into the summer season absolutely cooking. So that is all for the webinar today. Once again, I am incredibly grateful for every single one of you for hopping on. And I wish I had the chat function working right now, because I would love your guys' feedback. Is this something you guys want to see me do more of? I don't know. But if you are a client of No Accent Callers, every single week, myself and my brother Daniel, who is the real estate god and genius out of all of us, we do private trainings. Typically 5 to 10 people show up, where we go really, really deep in depth into a lot of these business systems. We don't charge for any of that. It's because how can we give the most amount of value to our clients? So if you like this, if you want to see me do more of it, make sure to book a call, get going with us, get some callers, and start dominating your market today. Like I said, we are prepaying now so that for January, February, March, April, we are good to go. Thank you guys so much. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Later, guys.